for today's cup of coffee with Scream?
Cup of coffee.
Oh, I tried to
make you some decorative coffee. What do you try to do?
Down that. No, actually, I did have to go out because I had forgot the whipped cream. Because I had fixed decorative coffee last night, and I used the last because we'd gone to the grocery store, and I thought I forgot to get the whipped cream. I thought I've got enough.
Yeah, I see that you don't got the decorative coffee with you right now.
No, I do not have the decorative coffee because it works better if I just have the plain black coffee when I'm recording. But as I was doing the
allergies,
the decorative coffee last night, it hit that last little, you know how it goes. Psst.
Oh yeah,
which means you should have gotten more
when you're up late at night and you got the munchies. And then you just want some of the cream, some of the whipped cream, and that's all that you get. It's disappointing.
That's what happens to the whipped cream then.
Honestly, I can firmly say that I have not been consuming your whipped cream lately. I have not been consuming
the new can we just
the Great Value,
today.
Whatever.
Today we just got that today.
Yeah.
So, but I thought because we do have weekend, this will come out on Saturday. We're recording this on August the 16th, 2024. 8:36 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Still on daylight savings.
Yeah.
And it's just, like I said, I didn't want to really get out of the house, but it was sort of a kind of one of those, it's like, this is that Libra rising thing. Do I want that, or do I want to do without that? Do I stay or do I go? So
do I stay or should I go?
Yeah.
You could do with this or you could do with that.
Yeah.
You could do with this.
And then the oldest kid actually, it was unusual. He's like, hey, come get me. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And so he came up and visited a while. And it was just like, yeah.
Oh.
And okay. Talk about brain breaking. It's like when I've got another one that goes down rabbit holes as much as I do sometimes. And it's just like,
He is your child.
He is. So that was most interesting. But we have rain and stuff coming in, and so brain function not quite as acute as I would like it. Mm-hmm. It never is. So we're going to do a 2-parter.
Okay.
Yeah. Because,
sounds good.
Excuse me. Because, it's weekend. Mm-hmm. It's weekend. You never know when you're going to inspire somebody to go back and watch something.
Yeah.
And as far as the fantasy movies and stuff, I had some weirdness with the upload on YouTube this morning that it was the same thing as the previous day, which I think threw everybody off. I don't know. It was mercury and mayonnaise. It's not just us.
Mercury
and
fucking mayonnaise.
Lots of people talking about this Mercury in retrograde, that it has really been rough.
It's been a rough time.
So to make things less rough, it's a matter of movies, spooky movies. And at some point I would like to, because I know that Robert Phoenix would know the answer to this. Horror movies in the 70s were different. They truly were.
It started off late 60s, but it really kicked off in the 70s. It was fucking weird.
Yeah, there were some really strange things, and I don't know. It had to do... The 70s were a strange decade.
Yeah, that horrible piss color yellow and the yellow and the
Harvest
browns.
Gold, avocado green, burnt orange, and brown.
Don't get me wrong. In certain situations, those look real good. But as a collective all together at once...
No. Live through it once. It's like, no. But as far as the mechanics of the appliances back then... Yes. Would I take a circa 1970s stove right now?
Oh, yeah.
In a heartbeat.
And a refrigerator, too?
No. Well, yeah. Even if it was in... I could deal with the avocado. Now,
I would rather have a 50s refrigerator.
I honestly never saw appliances in the orange. I did see them in the brown. They sure as hell were in the harvest gold.
What about the wood paneling?
And the avocado.
Don't forget the wood paneling either.
No, that wood paneling wasn't bad.
No.
It was just a thing.
Unless your whole house was wood paneling, like through the halls.
That was my parents. So, yeah.
I mean,
they had
it looks
station wagons that had faux wood paneling.
It's an aesthetic.
Not sure what happened on that. But anyhow, you would look like you were going to make some kind of statement over there.
I was going to say someone said that someone that dresses a certain time period is basically stuck in that time period because they are comfortable in that.
There's nothing wrong with that. I think all of us do that to a certain degree. Mm-hmm. You know, it just if you find something that works and, you know, roll with it.
Yeah.
It ain't hurting nothing.
No.
But anyhow, the horror movies, and I did go to Rotten Tomatoes. I'm not a fan of Rotten Tomatoes. I'm really not, because they have had issues.
I don't think that they're a reliable source as far as gathering accurate information whether or not a movie is bad or good. I think that is very much subjective.
Well, that's true of anything. It really is. But the list as I went through this seemed pretty legit, so we're just going to mention and briefly mention, because they've got 100 best 70s horror movies. So we're just going to roll through some of them. Most of them I had seen, some of them I had not, and not going to give a big, huge synopsis on each one of them. But they've got, and I don't know if these are any particular order, but their number one is Alien from 1979.
Can I tell you something?
What?
I never actually watched that full movie.
It's interesting. I did. I
know it had the lady...
Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah, she was also in Ghostbusters.
She was. She did such a good job.
Yeah, I've seen the scene where she was in the mech suit and the alien was right at her face, or was it when she was out of the mech suit?
I think both, maybe. I don't know. Geiger did the... he created the design for the alien.
Which is, it's very typical Geiger.
His artwork, if you're not familiar with his artwork, go and search it up, and it just...
Because his art is... I love his art. His art is very...
It's visceral.
It's visceral. It's very... It's a mix between mechanic, technology, and biology.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's transhumanism.
Yeah.
Very much so. But it's also got this, really dark element to it.
It does.
So but that movie, totally iconic.
It is.
This is something in 79 people, all these people still talking about these movies today.
It is.
So I've got coffee slurps because I must be low on coffee. Uh-huh.
On another note, before we continue on the movie, didn't he do one of Tool's album covers?
Probably. I know that he did one for Emerson, Lake and Palmer back in the day. He also did a mic stand for Korn.
Okay. That's pretty damn cool.
Yeah. He's just very characteristic. It's
a very distinct art style.
It is a definitely distinct art style. Number 2, they got 1975 Jaws. Ooh.
I never watched the full movie either. I've only seen clips. Back in the day, no joke, back in classic YouTube days, that's all that I did. If I could not afford the movie, I would go on YouTube and I would watch as many clips as I could. And if someone uploaded the movie in several parts, I would watch it like that.
Yeah. Yeah, but
I
some
never
of this
watched
was
Jaws
before
fully.
You were supposed to be watching some of these things too.
Yeah,
so.
as well as still mad dads and all that.
But that was another one that was a really good movie. Spielberg on that, and Roy Scheider, I think is his name, played the captain. Mm-hmm. He was just one of the It does make you think for the rest of your life. Anytime that you go in water, you're like,
It's like, is the shark about to eat my ass right now or not?
They got number 3, one of my favorites. It honestly is. And that started a genre that I didn't like, but it is still such a good movie. 1978, Halloween.
Halloween is a damn good
the
movie.
Original Halloween. Even we were just talking about, I was actually looking for horror movie soundtracks, and the list that I found on that were just stupid. So that would be one that would take me. I need to do my
Except
own.
for the Halloween theme and the Exorcist theme.
Yeah, but I mean, some of the other ones, I was just like, I was trying to do a thing.
Yeah.
And nobody else has done a thing like I would do it, so that means I'm going to have to do a thing. But not today.
Did you ever watch Hereditary?
No.
The soundtrack for that was fucked up. It was a fucked up movie.
Yeah, you've talked about that one. I think it traumatized you.
The girl's head got whacked off by a telephone pole in the first 30 minutes.
Oh, well, of course, 30 minutes, that's a long span of time.
Mom, the movie is 2 hours long.
Oh, God. Yeah, no. But Halloween was such, again, it started a genre. There had not been anything else like it.
Yeah. Yeah, there had not been another single slasher movie like that until. And then you had, Five Nights at Freddy's to follow up?
Oh,
along with Jason.
Yeah, you had, like I said, it started a whole genre.
It really did.
Uh-huh. They've got down here, like I said, some of these it seems like I have watched this at some point. It was Nosferatu the Vampire with a Y from 1979.
There was a version of Nosferatu in the 70s?
Yes. And it's one of these that it's a remake. And I need to actually look for this one.
I've never seen it.
At some point, I think that probably may be a foreign film.
Mm-hmm.
The Don't Look Now, 1973, and that had Donald Sutherland.
By the way, have you ever watched Suspiria?
Yes, both versions.
Was that in the 70s originally?
Yes.
I think it was the 2018 remake, or it was 2015. I don't remember. It was during the teens.
Uh-huh.
The remake is... I cannot watch it. It was so fucked up.
Yeah. It was really bizarre.
It was a dark movie.
Well, of course it was. It's a horror movie. I think it's kind of required.
But the way in the remake that one's body got twisted and mangled, it was just, I'm just like, ooh.
Yeah. Some of them have gotten, in even recent years, the realism, it's too. It is too.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, I don't want to see that.
There's just some things the majority of people should not see.
Yeah. And number 6 they've got here. I love this movie. This is one of my favorite movies. Young Frankenstein from 1974.
Didn't that have the dude from Willy Wonka in it?
It did. It had Gene Wilder in it, Peter Boyle, Cloris Leachman, and Marty Feldman.
It was actually a good movie.
It was a Mel Brooks movie. Mel Brooks. There's no way that you could do his movies today because people have totally lost their sense of humor.
Yeah.
And the ones of us who do have a sense of humor, then it's a matter of shaming and doing all this other shit.
Well, that's until the pendulum swings the other way
Well,
around.
I'm waiting for that. But it was wonderful because it wasn't Igor, it was Igor.
Igor.
And that the hump would switch sides. So it
depending
was
on his mood
just
for the day.
Putting on the Ritz. It was great. God, it was great. And you were talking about this movie, and Suspiria was 1977. Or Suspiria.
Yeah.
And
I love the trailer for it because it had the skeleton cheerleader that spun around, and it was like literally it looked like a regular human. And then it spun around and it was a skeleton.
Huh.
I love the trailer for it.
And this one was, I can't remember if it was Italian. It may have been based off an Italian movie also. But as far as the ballet school, that's the reason you liked it.
I didn't like it. It freaked my shit out.
Yeah. To tell you the truth, I was just sort of like, yeah. But I've seen so much stuff over the years that you sort of get numb to it.
He was a bunch of witchcraft stuff, and I'm not used to that. I don't. It was dark shit.
Yeah. And number 8 from 1976, Carrie. The original, the only one with Sissy Spacek.
That should have been the only one, period.
Yeah. And it was such a good movie.
Because the multiple remakes sucked. The sequel sucked.
They shouldn't even. I mean, once something is done, why these people try to remake some of this stuff? Why don't they? There are millions of stories out there that have been written and that are waiting to be written.
Yes.
Why try to redo something that already is?
It's that egotistical, I can do it better. Or, no, I want to put my own spin on it. When it's like, no, leave it alone.
It's like, make your own stuff.
Yeah.
Make your own stuff. Be inventive. Number 9 from 1978. This is not my genre. That's Dawn of the Dead.
That's my genre.
It is your genre.
I love Dawn of the Dead.
Because the zombie thing, I'm just not a fan of the zombies.
Yeah.
I'm not. Vampires was mine.
Have you ever seen 28 Days Later?
No. Because I'm not a zombie fan.
That's where you get into the runner zombies. Those are the fast zombies. Those are fucking terrifying.
If it's not my genre, I usually avoid it.
Well, I didn't know if you ever saw it or not.
This one is amazing. This was life-changing also. Number 10, 1978, Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
I refuse.
The one with Donald Sutherland.
I cannot tell you why, but that is the one movie I absolutely downright refuse to watch.
And this was a remake of another movie that I think came out in the 50s or 60s.
That...
Yeah.
With the pointing.
Yes, that face that Donald Sutherland at the end of the movie, it was, and the dog.
The clips alone.
Yeah.
Like I told you, that's all I would watch back in the day. It freaked my ass out so much. I refuse to watch it to this day.
Well, you had the one where the pods had got confused. You had he was sort of like a vagrant type character, and he had this dog. Mm-hmm. And then the dog walks through, and it had the dude's face. That scared the shit out of me as a kid.
Like in the thing with the Basement Jaxx music video, where where's your head out with the monkey with the human face?
Yes. Sort of like that.
Ooh.
Yeah. It was freaky.
God.
It was freaky.
Ooh.
Now, it was 78, so I was 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, I was like 12 or 13. So,
loves it.
Just young enough to where it would screw you up.
Did you see it when you were that age?
Yeah. Of course I did. Of course I did. Number 11 here. I didn't see this until like college, and it messed me up. It still messes people up. From 1977, we have Eraserhead.
Oh, there's a Blythe doll. There's a type of Blythe doll on AliExpress right now that reminds me of that lady. In heaven, everything is fine.
David Lynch.
With the cheeks.
Yeah. David Lynch is not from this galaxy. He really is not.
He's in a totally different world.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And Eraserhead certainly was. They've got one mention here from 1977 called House. I wasn't familiar with it at all.
The medical show?
No. And it apparently, it's got people's names that I cannot pronounce. It appears to be Japanese. So we'll have to look at that one somewhere.
What's it spelled?
This one I do need to watch because it was by George Romero, but it is vampires instead of zombies, and it's called Martin from 1978. So I might try to look for that at some point.
That sounds very familiar, but I don't know that I ever watched it fully. Why does it sound so familiar, Martin?
The next one is one of my favorites too, and is coming at number 14 from 1973, The Wicker Man. And this was the one that had Edward Woodward in it and Christopher Lee.
I was thinking of the one with Nicolas Cage.
No.
And it was like, the bees! Not the bees!
No. The Wicker Man. And I will tell you something. There was, and it's weird. There must be two different versions of the movie, because in some of them, they have, as far as music, different songs and stuff like that. And it was by a group called Lodestone. And I looked for that for years. So I don't know, if it was somebody that was local to where they filmed this. I don't know. I never was able to find it. And like I said, it was the fact that it was from 1973. Who knows?
Loves it.
But it really, really good.
See, the one with Nicolas Cage is the only one I saw.
No,
I didn't know
I'm
there
not.
was...
Like I said, I don't like remakes.
Yeah.
And I knew they would ruin it.
Well, see, House of Wax was a remake. The one with Paris Hilton in it?
Yeah. We have... I haven't seen this one, number 15 from 71. It's called Duel. So... I was not familiar with that one, but it did have Dennis Weaver, who was huge back in the day. And wait, no, I think I did see this one. Yes, I did see this.
Bogus Pin?
And it's weird because it doesn't really, in my world, fall into horror genre. It's where dude was driving and this big ass truck was trying to kill him.
Is it more of a psychological horror? Because psychological horrors aren't really that scary until you rewatch them and really think about it. And it's like, oh, shit.
It's like I said, when you've got some truck, huge truck, like semi, trying to run your ass down.
Yeah. That is terrifying.
So, yeah, it was in psychological horror.
Listen, just driving on the highway, on the interstate, it's like, fuck that shit.
Yeah.
That's scary in of itself.
It is. Coming up next from 1974, this is a lot of people's favorite. It is not one of my favorites, and that is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
I love that movie. I got Bubba on my wall right now. I got a figure of him.
It was another one that started a genre. It's sort of kind of in the slasher genre, but not really. It's in that sort of feral human genre.
The sequel is when it started to become more campy, very similar to how Chucky and Nightmare on Elm Street became more campy.
Yeah, when they found out that they could make a franchise of it.
Yeah.
This one I loved because I love Vincent Price. 1971, The Abominable Dr. Phibes.
What?
Yeah.
I never seen that one.
So good. Because on some of this, it is a matter of, I can't remember. Yeah, this is the one where he gets revenge in very interesting ways.
Revenge of what?
Well, you're wanting me to do a full synopsis. And
no, not a full synopsis. Just the general, like, what? Because I never seen the movie.
Right. But you'll have to. Well, some of these we will look for. This is followed up by another Vincent Price, Theater of Blood, in 1973. I love the Vincent Price movies and the Christopher Lee movies.
Vincent Price has been in a lot of really good movies, but I don't know that I've ever seen that one.
You probably have, and you just didn't know the name of it.
Maybe.
They mentioned one from 1973 that was called Sisters, and that's Brian De Palma. I'm not familiar with that one. It had Margot Kidder in it.
Okay.
And then going on, another one I have not seen, The Bird with the Crystal Plumage from 1970. It says it has stylized violence. How do you do that?
Right.
How do you do?
Is it cell shaded? Is it animated?
No.
What?
No.
What was that word that you... I was going to ask you what that word was. Reread the thing.
It says that it has stylized violence.
No, before that.
Honey, I don't know.
It was a word I never heard before.
Plumage?
Yeah, what is that?
Birds, feathers.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what that is. One that everybody knows, 1973 and The Exorcist.
Now, apparently the releases are not the same. Like, seriously, the releases on, like, VHS, DVD, and stuff like that is not the same as it was when it was first released in theaters.
I have seen some that they said that it was either the director's cut or supposed to be the theater release.
Even apparently the modern, like, director's cut theater release versions it's not the same as it was when it was released that very first year.
Are you sure that's not a Mandela effect thing?
No, I'm positive. Tons of people have been talking about it, and someone actually sort of did a edit. I don't know where to find it on the internet because you kind of have to request that. I don't know where to find it.
Right,
but someone basically found or put together a version how it was originally in theaters.
Well,
that absolutely terrified people to the point that they were vomiting, passing out, stuff like that.
The subject matter, and like I said, because I love the book so much, and it is different than the movie.
Yeah. The book is very, very different than the movie.
That has become one of my favorite all-time books. It really has.
Yeah.
And that says something. But it looks like that there would still be reels somewhere. Actual reels that were shown in the theaters.
You would think, but those tend to be discarded a lot of the time, kept in very poor conditions.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. They do degrade over time.
Yeah.
But that was another one that was culture changing, and it was followed up by another one, 1976, The Omen. Both of these movies are so
Damien.
dark. The Omen was hard for me to watch because there is an essence about that thing that it's just like,
There's a video game called Lucius, and I actually do have that game. It is based off the movie The Omen, and you play as Lucius. I've only played like one chapter of it, and that was it. I was done.
Yeah. But now Gregory Peck and Lee Remick were in the original one here, and just such an excellent job. I mean, when you have got, and I don't know if it's where they had been out of the limelight for a while that they would agree to do horror movies, because in Hollywood there for a while, it was not something that most people wanted to get into as far as horror movies, unless you had specific people like Vincent Price that was his lane.
Yeah.
You know, but this is it. And of course they've got it number 22 on their list.
Loves it. Oh, fun fact. Elvira actually got to meet Vincent Price.
Oh, I have no doubt.
She adored him.
I have no doubt.
Cassandra Peterson absolutely loved and adored Vincent Price.
Oh, he was a hoot. I think he was just a hoot. And this movie has been plaguing me on every list, this next one, that I have looked at tonight. And I have no idea why. And I like this movie. I do. But it's just... Coming in at number 23 from 1974, Phantom of the Paradise.
Does that mean we're going to have to watch it again?
Yes, it does. I actually did buy it. I bought it several years ago.
The only scene I was a big fan of was when dude got fried. Well, there was two scenes that people got fried. It was that one that was doing the theater. What was his name? He was like that big buff dude or whatever. That was.
Oh, I think it was Beef. I think was his name.
Beef. He got zapped by the sign.
God, it was hilarious.
And then the actual Phantom of the thing that got fried. by, what was it that he got fried by? He got hit by a sign too, wasn't it?
Maybe. This was actually directed by Brian De Palma and had Paul Williams. Paul Williams, he's a little man. He is a little man. But was a very influential songwriter during the 70s. Had some amazing songs.
Didn't he like write the majority of the soundtrack in it?
Yes, he did. And that's one of the things. He also stars in it. He, like I said, I watched a documentary about him several years back, and he's like, I'm still alive or something. That's the name of it. And he honestly never got the recognition that he deserved. He truly did not.
I mean, he's a really good musician.
He was a good actor. He
That
just
too.
wasn't one of these beautiful actors like usually gets all the fame and stuff.
Right.
But very talented individual. He wrote for a lot of different people, and his lyrics, and in the lyrics in this, a lot of the songs, excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah. Didn't Phantom of the Paradise sort of get canned at first?
It did. It did. And I think a lot of times it still does, and I don't know why.
I thought it turned into like a cult classic.
Of course it does, because that's one of the reasons that I like it.
Cult classics are better than those box office hits a lot of the time.
A lot of times they are. This one that's Your Vice is a locked room, and only I have the key. Have never heard of that one.
What?
There's probably 15 people out there going, oh no.
Which year of the 70s was
1972.
that? Never heard of that.
Nope, have never heard of that. The next one, I adore. This is 1973, The Night Strangler.
I haven't seen that
And
one.
this started as far as Kolchak. Yeah.
That's what started Kolchak? Mm-hmm. And yet I haven't seen it.
You have. You just don't remember it. A lot of times I'm watching this
Maybe I
stuff
thought it was
and
like a special of Kolchak or something.
Well, what it was, and I can't remember whether it was the movies came first and then the series or what, but that one, yeah, that was the introduction of Kolchak, which was Darren McGavin, and he did such a good job with that role. Loved it.
Yeah.
Loved that.
Wasn't he, now correct me if I'm wrong, Kolchak was the one that also played the dad in A Christmas Story.
Yes, he was. Because he was a brilliant actor.
Yep.
He was just brilliant.
I
love that movie.
I
love that movie.
I love Kolchak, but I cannot watch
I
A
love
Christmas
it.
Story.
It's because
it makes
of the
me
leg
hurt.
lamp. It's because of the leg lamp.
Oh no, I love that leg lamp, and I've always wanted one of it, but just the movie hits home. It's like it hurts. It hurts.
Cringe on it, but God, that is one of the most brilliant movies ever.
Yeah.
They've got next a couple that I have no idea about. Deep Red from 1975. The Baby from 1973.
The
Don't
Baby.
know that one. The next one that they've got at number 28 from 1976. It was one of my favorites, but I tried to go back and watch it again and I couldn't. This is The Little Girl Who Lives Down the Lane, and it starred Jodie Foster.
I've never seen that one.
It is a creepy thing, and in today's world, people really need to go back and watch it.
Can I add one on to the list as you go on later?
From the 70s?
Yeah. Because more than likely that they're not going to add this one onto the list.
We don't know. Let me get through here. In 1973, something's called Ganja and Hess. Never heard of it. This one had one of the preeminent scream queens, Karen Black. And from 1975, this was Trilogy of Terror. So that was
the same
10.
one with that little voodoo doll.
Yes, it was. Karen Black was such...
She was good.
She was. But she has this really odd, eerie essence to her that I think she was just destined to do horror movies because that's about the only place she fit.
Some people, that's the only category that they can fit in is horror.
Yeah. They have this one from 1971, The House That Dripped Blood. I may or may not have seen that one. I don't remember
I haven't seen that one. I've seen Bucket of Blood, which was from 1950 or 1960 something, but
72, Deathline. I don't remember that one either. And it's something about it says discovers the descendants of survivors of a cave-in in the early 1900s. It has Donald Pleasance in it. I would watch it.
Yeah.
I would watch it, but I'm not familiar with that. The next one I enjoyed greatly and have watched it many times. 1972, Tales from the Crypt.
I love Tales from the Crypt.
It has Joan Collins, Peter Cushing, and several other people in there. Just...
Was that a movie or wasn't it a show? Or did
There's both. Tales from the Crypt was a movie in 1972. And so you had these little vignettes. And I like it when you've got multiple stories within a movie. And that was the same thing with Trilogy of Terror.
Yeah.
And there were quite a few movies from the 70s that did that, especially some of the British ones. Mm-hmm. And they were great. This one is another one, 1979, Salem's Lot. Loved Salem's Lot.
Did you and I watch that together?
I own Salem's Lot. And when you have Danny Glickman floating outside the window, clawing on the glass, still is just as scary now as it was back in 1979.
Let me in.
Yes.
I'm hungry. Let me in. God.
It was so well done.
Yeah.
And there's people that would be like, well, this fuck you. No, it's a good movie. Watch it.
Yeah.
Next up, 1978, Long Weekend. Not familiar with that one. I have heard of this next one, and I may have watched it, and I may not have. If I did watch it, I probably was not impressed. From 1973, Andy Warhol's Frankenstein.
Andy Warhol made a movie?
Because Andy Warhol was up his own ass.
Yeah.
He knew it.
Very pretentious.
He knew it, and he played on it. And people, it was sort of like, I will not go into an art discussion on that as far as the Dada movement, but...
Like, no joke. And he admitted this himself. There was no creativity to it. It was screen printed.
Yeah. Screen printing, that's it.
But his art is iconic.
It is, and it isn't. It was pop art.
Yeah.
It was during that
It's commercialized art.
Exactly. That's the reason he chose like the Campbell soup cans and stuff like that.
And Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah. I mean, we'll not go off on a tangent on that. 1971, Night Stalker. And I think this one of them had to do with a vampire, and then the other one was the Strangler. But Kolchak was amazing.
When was the Night of the Demons? Because that reminds me of the Night of the Demons for some reason.
Don't know. I just got this list here. The next few, 71, Hands of the Ripper.
Never heard of that.
I don't know whether I saw that one or not. 78, The Shout. And then we get to one that's definitely, this was another one life-changing, 1978, Magic. And it starred Anthony Hopkins and the ventriloquist dummy. And to this day, ventriloquists, they freak me out.
That's the ventriloquist dummy. I have been wanting a replica since I was in my teens. I want one. No. Abracadabra. I sit on his knee. Presto changeo. Now he is me. Hocus pocus, we take it to bed.
It was such a well done movie.
It was.
Because you don't know. You
didn't know if Anthony Hopkins was possessed, or if the dummy was possessed, or if he had some sort of like psychological...
Yeah. But it is an excellent movie.
Yeah.
We did watch this within the past couple of years, and it was just as creepy today as it was back then.
I watched a YouTuber that actually made a one-on-one, like, perfect replica of Fats the Dummy. Oh, I want that. I want one of those dummies.
The next couple, let's say 1974, Let Sleeping Corpses Lie. I don't remember that one.
Okay.
71, Bay of Blood. I don't remember that one.
How many blank of blood movies has there
Lots. Also 71, Psychomania. It seems like I did see that. I think that, oh my goodness, those guys that show the movies that I adore, the management.
Yeah.
I'll think of it. Here if I remember.
I can't remember their actual channel.
They're so awesome, and they
Newcastle After Dark.
That's it. They show some of these horror movies that they really like, but didn't get much attention, and that they are given audiences. They make their commentary during it so that they're under the fair use thing. I think they're wonderful.
They're really good.
I really do. But I think I saw Psychomania during that. It wasn't bad. It seems like it was a British movie, and it was interesting. Blue Sunshine, 1976. No, can't remember that one. Shivers, 1975.
I do remember watching clips of Shivers. But I can't remember exactly. I just know that I watched that shit, and it sort of freaked my shit out.
Yeah, some of these were really, like I said, the ones in the 70s, they were extra. 74, Death Dream. I don't remember that one. 72, The Other. It was one where somebody had a twin. That's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know that one.
74, The Candy Snatchers. Not familiar with that one. 73, I have seen this one. The Creeping Flesh.
I haven't seen that one.
And that starred Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing.
Okay.
So good stuff. And then the next one, we're going to stop at one that I have not seen or don't remember seeing, from 1972. Don't Torture a Duckling.
I've never heard of that one, but
no, that probably, anytime it's got something that hurts kids, I'm not a fan.
But when you said don't torture the duckling, at first I thought you were going to say Don't Look in the Basement, which was from the early 70s, which is, right. You and I watched that together. It's not a high budget movie, but I adore that movie because one of the inmates is running the asylum. And you don't know.
Spoiler.
And you don't know until the very end of the movie.
Right. Well, now, like I said, I didn't read. We'll do the next part for the next video, and it may be on there and it may not.
Some people will say that it's a shit movie. I love that movie personally. I will always love that movie.
Yeah. And just because the critics don't like it does not mean it's not good. The final thoughts.
The doctor is in the basement?
Yeah. Yeah. I think we've got something like that going on in real life today. Is that your final thoughts?
Go check out some movies that other people have canned. You may like them. Movies and music is a very subjective taste. Mm-hmm. What you like is what other people may like is not necessarily what you will like. Right. Find your genre of music find your genre of movies that you like. Sure.
Yeah, and if you've got some, like I said, we've got the rest of it, we'll do 2-part because it's going to be rainy weekend.
Because I can actually say there's a lot of people that do not like Death Becomes Her. That is one of my favorite movies. Yeah.
Oh, well, I can see that. It was just campy, and it's movies and books and music very individual in a lot of ways. Yeah. It's what they mean to that specific person.
Yeah, it's very subjective.
Yeah, it is. So, if you've had experiences with the paranormal or supernatural, encounters with UFOs, aliens, cryptids, tinfoil hats, let us know your favorite movies from the 70s. Mm-hmm. And you can find lists and stuff like that. And, because when we do the second part of it, it may include something that you really, really like, and it may not.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I wish I could remember the correct date for Don't Look in the Basement, but I know it was like early 70s.
okay. Well, we can
That's
look
all
for
I
it.
know.
We can look for it. You doing your thing?
Yeah. If you like this video, subscribe, comment, like, share. Check her out on BitChute, Rumble, and YouTube at Orlando's Cup of Coffee with Scream. Also check her out on X, previously known as Twitter, at Orlando COCWS. And if you want us to talk about a certain subject, if you want to tell us ghost stories or whatever, send her an email at Orlando's Cup of Coffee with Scream at gmail.com.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they're in the description box. If you've had, different encounters with paranormal and stuff, you're welcome to share those, and we will definitely, And if you just want to tell somebody and you don't want it put in a video, that's perfectly fine too.
Yeah.
I've had people do that.
Yeah.
That they just wanted somebody that to understand what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
And we do.
And if you have movies you recommend as well.
Yeah. So know that you are loved. Treat other people the way that you would like to be treated.
Mm-hmm.
And Lord willing, we'll see you on the next cup.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.